July the 28th, 2020. Guys, you're looking at satellite images over the Atlantic and a pretty well-defined system of low pressure sitting there in the middle. This will become more than likely our next named storm. It's moving a pretty fast clip, guys, moving west by northwest, about to come into the Caribbean, not far from it at all. Now, the models have been varying since the video I did yesterday where we're showing East Coast strikes. And that just goes to show you how quickly things can change. But overnight, the Navy model had this thing hitting down around Miami and moving right up the central part of the entire state and coming out up in South Carolina. But we'll look at the models, but the ones, and they're changing quick now, but the ones before the video had the Navy model and the Canadian model, again, hitting down into the Carolinas. We'll take a look at that. But what you're seeing here is the sun is right over the center of the storm now. It's 9:33 a.m. Central. It's illuminating that dust cloud very well, and that's a battle between this storm and that Saharan dust layer. But the chance last night also had changed, the chance of development. And it went from an 80-90 to a 70-80. But now, this morning, it's gone back up. But we're seeing, again, at the surface layer, under these tall clouds and that are not getting much wind shear at all now, a very well-defined center of circulation. It probably will become a tropical depression or storm sometimes today. Let's take a look at some of the information from the National Hurricane Center. What we're seeing is, again, the 80% chance of development in 48 hours, 90% chance over a 5-day forecast. But it's closing in. It's moving quickly. It says this elongated area of low pressure, located about 500 miles east of the Windward Islands, is producing a wide area of showers and thunderstorms. Although recent satellite images suggest that the system does not yet have a well-defined center, data from NOAA buoy 41040 indicate the system is producing winds near tropical storm force. That's what we're seeing on that surface, guys, where the buoys are. It says an Air Force Reserve hurricane hunter is scheduled to investigate the system this afternoon and will provide more information about the current state of the disturbance. It's a large area. Guys, anywhere on the East Coast, watch this one. Environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for additional development, and a tropical depression or tropical storm is likely to form during the next couple of days while the system moves west-northwestward at 15 to 20 miles an hour and approaches the Leeward Islands. Regardless of development, locally heavy rain is likely across portions of the Lesser Antilles beginning later today and continuing through Wednesday, especially in the Leeward Islands. Again, it's getting very close. You can see it on the radar imaging or satellite imaging. These conditions will spread westward to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico Wednesday. That's tomorrow. And Wednesday night and Thursday, interest on these islands should continue to monitor the progress of this system, and tropical storm watches and warnings could be required for portions of the area later today. Now, we're going to take a look at a couple of models, and they show the storm being strongest once it gets very close to the U.S., so that may help Puerto Rico and all, but you still could, again, we're looking at tropical storms, possibly a Cat 1 before too long. Now, these models were updated approximately 38 minutes ago, guys, and what you're seeing is this northwestward movement, and everything's coming very close to the south tip of Florida. Check that out here in the Bahamas. But the two models that, to me, have been the most accurate are right here, the CMC Canadian model and the Navy model, NavGem, right there. And they intersect right off the coast of Georgia and maintain the same line almost all the way into the area of South Carolina and North Carolina, right along the coast there on the state's border. Now, first, the Canadian model, and you can see again, notice the orange area, that's high pressure. And depending on where it allows that break for the storm to go, that will determine where it actually turns along the South Florida coast and where it comes ashore. Right there, that's August the 2nd. crosses Nag's Head out around the 4th. Now notice that what I was saying about Puerto Rico and all, maybe you'll get the lesser of the storm, because see how it's blue in the center, then it turns darker and purple before it comes ashore? That has to do with the line on the right of this video, the barometric pressure. You get it from the blues to the purple, and the storm is becoming stronger and stronger. And again, it will be determined by where this high pressure system actually gives it a path to escape. They like to get into the Atlantic and head back north and northeast. And it's these high pressure systems in the summer that keep them down into the area. Let's take a look at the Navy model. Now the Navy model is showing the same thing, a battle between this high pressure in the orange and where it's going to let the storm escape to. The difference is this one doesn't quite make it up to Nag's Head. It comes ashore along the Carolina borders between South and North Carolina. Another thing is how strong it is about right there on August 2nd, and how quickly, guys, that it gets into the very low pressure area. Here, August 1st, you're still into the darker blues. Now, 1,000 millibars is right where the greens change to blue. So we're getting down into the darker blues already as far as low pressure, and that means, again, stronger storms. And if we kind of advance this thing through August the 2nd, notice the colors start to change here as it gets into what we call the Gulf Stream. Right there, you just dropped. You've got 2 levels of this. 992 on the outside. Going forward, again, still August 2nd. Still in August 2nd. That area is widening, and you can see the bands inside the center of circulation. It's becoming very strong at this point, according to this model. We're still in August 2nd, so as it comes in, guys, it's going to be moving north very quickly. Here, August 3rd, very strong storm. Coming ashore, August 3rd, right up as close as we can say to the Carolina borders again. Let me let this just play on through. As it skates up, crosses North Carolina, goes up, catches a lot of the northeastern U.S. right here. It's still a very powerful storm. Could be some major flooding according to this model. We're going to watch it. We'll keep morning and evening updates on it. Each day as it gets closer, these models will become tighter and tighter, guys. Be prepared for this. Make sure you got extra food and water, some backup power. It's a heads up. Be safe.